Yes now, welcome back to SSJ Fishing, and this will probably be titled Harper's Guide to Fishing number 2 or volume 2. Let's get straight into the questions.
How successful have you been since your last Q&A?
It's hard to say. I've caught a lot of little fish down flea, so in terms of catching, pretty successful. I don't think I've got anything in the double figures, so I'd say relatively is a polite way of putting it.
Have you beaten your PB since your last Q&A?
No. No. I don't know how after a year my PB's still £17. Like, the scales weren't zeroed.
It was a bit fudged, wasn't it?
It was a little bit off, but we're claiming it. But no, I've not yet.
What's your preferred rig of choice?
I only know one rig, and that's a hair rig, and I don't even know how to do that myself, so I buy the packs of, was it 2 or 3?
2. The quarter ones.
Yeah, the quarter ones, and I've only just learned how to attach that onto my rod, so I'm going to say the hair rig for now. If I stop being lazy and learn other rigs, maybe on Q&A volume 3 I'll have a different answer.
Has your preferred bait changed since your last Q&A?
It has. On the last one, I think I was torn between Manila and sweet corn, but I eventually went for sweet corn, so I had most of my catches on there. I think since maybe March, April time, I've not bothered with any corn. It has been just, is it Mainline, the Manila brand?
Sticky.
Sticky bait, sorry, yeah, sticky. Yeah, just Manila boilies and pellets.
What size leads do you use?
I use 2.5 ounces. I spend most of my time on smaller lakes. When I have used them at Broadlands, it's just like a field of silt, and it's so hard to figure out where the gravel bed is. So for now, I'd say I've pretty much stuck to 2.5 ounces.
What's your preferred tackle brand?
I'd say Corda. It's what I use the most, mainly because of the pre-made hair rigs you can buy. I'd say 60 to 70% of my tackle's Corda.
How has your channel and social platforms grown?
They've done really, really well. I think the last time we did a Q&A was, 2-3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'd hit 1,000 followers on Instagram yet. We're now just off 2,000, depending on when this is released. Our Twitter page is starting to go up. We've got a Facebook page now. We're on Threads, and our YouTube, the subscribers are slowly going up, but we're averaging sort of 400 to 500 views per video. And bear in mind, we've got 71 subscribers. That's huge for us, and we're sort of consistently hitting the same numbers now, so hopefully the subscribers will come in time.
What's your advice on beating the heat?
Cold drinks, light clothing. A hat is essential. You need to protect your head, otherwise you're going to get heat stroke. You get heat stroke, you're not going to want to fish. Did I say stay in the shade?
No.
Stay in the shade, like if you can, depends where your swim is, but like you really want to avoid being out of the main beam of the sun as much as you can. If you've got a bivvy set up, buy a bivvy fan and just try and stay as mobile as possible. The more you move around, the hotter your body's going to get. Sun cream, like you need sun cream, especially for someone like me. I've not got a lot of hair, so getting burnt up here is it's less than ideal.
What's your advice on beating the cold?
It's like the complete opposite. Layers. You need layers of clothing, especially if you're overnight. One jumper's not going to be enough. One sleeping bag's not going to be enough. You're going to need duvet or a blanket to go with you. I'd stick to hats again. It's like the complete opposite. You don't want your head to get too cold. You get ill. Hot drinks, hot water bottle if you've got it. Make as much tea, coffee, hot chocolates as you can, and just wrap up.
Any advice for night fishing?
Night fishing, I think it's a bit subjective. Like on Baker's Q&A, he said it's not too dissimilar to day fishing. I actually think it's a little bit different, or very different actually. I think the fish are a lot more active because I don't personally think they can see you on the bank. But if you are sat on the bank just trying to watch the lake, you need to turn your head down towards the ground, sort of to your feet. Don't shine it on other swims where the anglers are. Don't shine it on the lake because you're just going to scare the fish off. And I would use smelly baits. So if you're on, corn or Manila, you're going to want to move over to something that stinks, something disgusting, like any type of fish brand. Maybe you're going to glug it in garlic goo, something that's going to attract the fish in. And bite alarms with a receiver, you need to be up and ready to sort of strike the rod as soon as you get a bite on there.
Would you recommend speaking to other anglers at the lake?
I would, personally. Baker is famous for growling at other people. I don't know why he does it, and I guess the social awkwardness comes in. But the best way you're going to learn is by talking to the other people at the lake. If there's some old boy who's been fishing, I don't know, headlands for 30 years, he's going to know every spot on that lake where the fish tend to go. Now, if they're keeping themselves to themselves in a corner and they're not really looking over at you, then, leave them alone. But if you're going up to a swim that maybe someone's just come off, ask for advice, not just on how to fish that swim, but what bait to use. 9 out of 10 people are going to give you good advice, but it's just that sort of 1%. If they're not interested, just leave them alone.
If it's your first time fishing a lake, how do you decide where to set up? Don't
just set up in the first place you see, because it might look nice, but chances are there's no fish in there. Do a couple of laps around the lake if it's quiet. You want to be checking for anything between bubbles / movement in the water, see if they're feeding. If you've got reeds like sort of coming up on the bank, reeds are always a good shout for carp and for pike. If there's an island for you to hit across the lake and you're not going to be crossing anyone's line, islands are perfect, whether it's a big lake or a small lake. So make sure that wherever you're going to choose to set up, if your swim's facing this way, you want to make sure that in the distance you've got the perfect amount of space and the perfect amount of opportunities to find the fish in the lake. If you just choose the first one you see, you're not going to catch, or it's very unlikely you're going to catch.
What lakes would you recommend for new anglers?
I'd start small. Like if you live sort of around Southampton or Hampshire, you want to be going to Fleet or FLE, or if you're going to go to Wellow or Headlands, go to the bottom lake. It's got high numbers of stock, but nothing above 20, and to be honest with you, nothing above 15. We hear stories all the time of 30 pounders in the bottom lakes. It's not true. Your chances of catching something this big are going to be 70%, 80%. Get used to reeling the fish in. It took me months. As soon as my reel would scream off, I'd panic and I'd be lifting the rod up and reeling at the same time. Whereas really, you need to be anticipating where the fish is moving, put the rod down and reel, then lift it up. You want to be pulling it towards you, let it tire itself out, and then net the fish where you can. That's it for this Q&A. We didn't have many messages to go off. We hope you learned something. Learning from me is going to be a bit difficult. I'm the weakest out of the three of us at fishing. If you have enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share to your friends. It helps us grow as a channel and as anglers. And please, I say this in every video, don't hesitate to comment on the videos if we're doing something wrong in terms of editing or on the YouTube side or the fishing side. We can only learn with your advice. So for that, I'll say thank you in advance, and thank you for the people who keep coming back and have subscribed. We wouldn't be here without you pursuing what has become a dream of ours. So thank you. I think we got, depending on when this comes out, 2 or 3 lake videos coming out, so stay tuned.